Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Friday. It is Friday, December 19th, 2025. I am Manila Chan. That over there is Ted Rall. You are tuned into the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short, because we bring you all kinds of disgusting information about the world and life. And, sometimes we have girl talk live on air, and I make Ted engage in girl talk.
My favorite.
We do it live. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You never know what's going to go down on this show. So please be sure to hit the like, the follow, the subscribe, and the share button to help our little show continue to grow. We're just over a year old, and we are growing steadily, and we appreciate any little bit of help that you all would want to provide. So with that, Ted, let's hop straight into some of these stories because I want to make sure we get to all of them. We had to punt one of them from yesterday. But Robbie says before we do that, we have to get to some ads right out of the gates. So I guess we'll go ahead and do that first, and then we'll jump to all of these stories. So with that, it is less than we're almost at, I forgot to say, yesterday was 1 week to Christmas and then 2 weeks to New Year's. Wow.
That's true. They always say it, everyone always says, oh, that went really fast, but it went really fast.
It creeps up. I really think this year went, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, we're getting older, but I swear 2025 just happened. Like it just happened. All right.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's get into the first sponsor of the day. Okay, so if you've been paying attention to the direction this country is headed, as we do on this show, you already know our financial system is being intentionally sabotaged. Inflation is not a mistake. It's draining your savings while the political elites consolidate power. Every time Washington prints another mountain of cash, your dollar becomes weaker and your future becomes more vulnerable. This is exactly why you need to go to mygoldguy.com/rumble and get in touch with my gold guy. He isn't like the big name gold companies that bait people with free gold or silver coins while quietly inflating their prices. That is deception disguised as generosity. My gold guy refuses to play that game. He is no frills, America first, precious metals dealer whose mission is simple: give you the best possible price so you can protect your wealth without the gimmicks and without the smoke and mirrors. Go to mygoldguy.com/rumble, fill out the short form, and request your complimentary consultation. He'll give you real information about the economy, the instability ahead, and how physical gold and silver can anchor your future when everything else starts shaking. And when you sign up, you'll get this free gold and silver guide, which every American who cares about financial security needs to read right now. So don't wait. Don't assume things will just kind of work themselves out. Protect what's yours. Visit mygoldguy.com/rumble today. Get your consultation. Get that guide. This is the time to act. Yeah, with the economy, who knows, Ted? I don't know. I like real estate. That's kind of my thing, right? Because as they say, God ain't making any more land. Although the Emiratis are.
So. Yeah, that's true. And people have made more land all the time. I mean, a considerable part of New York City is built on landfill. So, yeah.
I guess that's technically creating land. It's gross. I feel like that's not stable, but
well, just because something's gross doesn't mean it's not the thing,
Well, I don't know. I've been on the Palm Jumeirah in the Emirates, and it never ceased to amaze me that that God didn't put this here, right? Like this island that I'm standing on is man-made, number one. And number two, I was like, earthquakes do happen. Like there was a big earthquake when I lived there, and it was based out of Iran, but you could feel it in Dubai. And every time I went to the Palm Jumeirah, I thought, strong does the earthquake have to be before these islands start to Will it hold up the way the Hawaiian Islands can hold up to earthquakes? I feel like the answer is no. I'm no geologist.
Fair.
I don't know. Just saying. I don't know. But just something food for thought for this Friday. All right, let's get to the news.
Okay.
All right, first things first. Mystery. Well, they think so the FBI, as we keep talking about the FBI, they keep saying this mystery is solved now with the Brown University shooter and MIT shooting, apparently connected or whatever. I personally say it's the mystery is just beginning to unfold. It's actually becoming more mysterious. So Robbie says I'm very muffled. Do I sound muffled to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm sick, or kind of sick.
Well, yeah. I think you sound like you're suffering from congestion.
Congestion. Yeah. Robbie says muffled. That's like a microphone thing. Are you talking about a microphone thing, or because I sound stuffy?
Yeah, you sound stuffy to me.
Yeah, stuffy is not muffled.
Not like in a pompous British way. Oh, I say, old bean. Not like that.
She's so stuffy, that girl.
Oh, sorry. Right.
I'm staving off the cold. But anyway, I found this story to be even more strange now that the supposed shooter has been identified. So police identified the suspected gunman in that Brown/MIT professor killing story. Spoiler alert, dude unalived himself in a New Hampshire storage, his storage, presumably his storage facility. Or
it's rude to do it in someone else's, man. That's not yours. Don't do that.
Right. Like if you break into somebody else's storage unit, like if you're gonna do that to yourself, like, dude, don't get your blood and guts and brains all over somebody else's
all over
Christmas decor.
Their old vinyl and like their mom's
their yearbooks
stuff.
And
exactly.
Like that's not cool, dude.
No, it's
rude.
Don't
do that. Don't do that. So here's what happens. So authorities say they have identified the suspected gunman behind last Saturday's shooting at Brown University, and the killing days later of MIT physics professor Nuno Loureiro. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Nuno Loureiro, closing one of the most unsettling academic crime sprees in recent memory. Police confirmed the suspect, 48-year-old Claudio Neves Valente, was found dead by I can't say that because this is going to go on YouTube. And then anyway, so he was found unalived inside a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire, ending a multi-state manhunt that left university communities on edge. From Rhode Island to Massachusetts, Valente was a former Brown University grad student who studied physics at the university from the years 2001 to 2003 before taking a leave of absence. He was most recently known to be living in Miami, Florida. And Ted, there's a lot of jokes to be made there about Florida man.
True.
Until this week, investigators had not publicly connected the Brown shooting with the killing of Loureiro. In fact, right after the MIT professor was murdered, the FBI, the first thing Kash Patel's FBI comes out and says is, these two events are not connected. And of course, now here we are a few days later. These two events are definitely connected.
Yeah, I mean, is Kash Patel ever right about anything?
Like, dude, guy, just don't be so quick to try to tweet everything. You're the freaking FBI director. Shut up. Shut up and
it's bad.
Like, dude, collect the facts first and then tweet. Like, don't tweet first. I feel like that's what he's doing. Like, oh God,
that is what he does first. Yeah.
He gets a little bit of intel and he's like, I gotta tweet this. And you're like, oh my God.
He can't help himself. It's his past, right? It's just like, it's who he is.
It's who he is. I think he's a millennial, right? He's like early 40s.
Yeah. you know,
So
like
it's
so you know the silent generation were the greatest generation, and the millennials, what are they? The derpiest generation.
the talky, I don't know, the oversharing. They overshare.
I mean, I think Gen X is honestly the coolest generation because
Obviously.
we've gone through so much shit and got no credit,
Yes.
and we don't care. We're just like,
And we just go
whatever,
on with our
fuck
day.
off.
We go on with our shit and just
Yeah,
like shut up, suck it up, buttercup, and move on.
yeah,
Like
that's it.
that's Gen X.
Yeah,
The millennials where admittedly I'm right at the cusp, but
you get to
but
choose. Just like me,
yeah,
I get to
but
choose not to be a boomer.
right. But I grew up with my mom's sisters who were more like my older sisters than her younger sisters, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's a lot older, and they're all under 60. They're
Mm-hmm.
like mid 50s to 60. So
Mm-hmm.
they are squarely Gen X, and that's who I grew up with. So that's I kind of identify more that way. And Kash Patel is so millennial. Like he wants to show us his food. He wants to show us his girlfriend. He wants to show us every like, oh, I heard this today at the FBI headquarters. Like they're not related. Oh wait, maybe they are related. These murders. Oh, these two professors. Okay, so here's the details, right? Police say Valente, this is the juicy part, Ted, that I think anyway. Police, not FBI. I just want to be clear. So this makes the information more trustworthy, Ted. Police,
Gotcha.
not the FBI. There's a distinction. Police say Valente and Loureiro attended the same university in Portugal. So these are two Portuguese nationals, though officials have not yet clarified whether the two men actually knew each other personally or had any overlap academically, but they're both in from the physics department, right? So these are two like brainiac types, right? At elite universities. So
Sure.
I have some thoughts. As of now, no motive has been publicly identified, and investigators say they are still reviewing digital evidence, travel records, and Valente's personal history to determine what may have driven the attacks. The first incident occurred at Brown, where a shooting prompted an emergency lockdown and triggered a massive police response. While details remain limited, officials later confirmed that the shooter fled the scene. Days later, MIT professor Nuno Loureiro was found dead in what authorities now believe was a targeted killing. He was shot dead at his own home. I don't know the details. They haven't revealed, was he shot when he opened the door? Did somebody break in? We don't know, but he was shot dead in his home in an upscale neighborhood called Brookline in Massachusetts near MIT. So Loureiro, a highly respected physicist, was known for his work studying magnetic fields in the universe, with research spanning, never heard of this, plasma physics, astrophysics, and space science. His death sent shockwaves through the global scientific community, where colleagues described him as both brilliant and deeply committed to mentoring students. The discovery of Valente's body brought grim closure, but few answers. Investigators say Valente died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A firearm was recovered on scene. Officials have not disclosed whether the weapon matches ballistics from either of the other crime scenes at MIT or Brown, but they say evidence strongly supports Valente was the lone suspect. University officials at both Brown and MIT have issued statements expressing grief and solidarity while promising cooperation with law enforcement. Counseling services have been expanded at both campuses. Security protocols are now under review. So there are weird lapses, Ted, in, I don't know if you followed this case.
So you don't think Manila, this is just your standard Portuguese on Portuguese violence?
Well, let me walk you through a couple of things step by step when I was watching this stuff kind of unfold last weekend. So they wrongly identify, the FBI did, and plastered pictures of a guy.
Again, which they do all the time.
ruining, at least temporarily, ruining the life of some innocent dude that happened to be at the
it's
wall.
not temporary, because here's the thing, right? When you fuck up in a public space, let's say you're, let's just use this example. So they tell the entire world this person is a mass murderer, and then they're like, oh, our bad. Actually, he's cool. Well, not everyone gets the memo, right? So like a lot of people who saw the first one don't see the second one. So if someone who
they put your picture out,
they're
like, Ted Rall is a mass murderer.
Right.
We caught this bastard. He shot these random
He's on the
people.
lam. Yeah. Armed and dangerous. If someone shoots this person, are they bad? Not really. I mean, they're doing
right. If you didn't see the second memo, that's like, oh, we were wrong. Ted Rall's the wrong guy.
Right. Our bad. It's like, that's the thing, is there's no takebacks here. Right.
So that's number one, because within a couple of days they were so anxious to be like, we caught him. Right.
This is going to lead to, I mean, it is serious. It's going to cause
lawsuit after
someone's going to fucking die, is what's going to happen.
Yes. And the ones that don't die are going to sue the shit out of the FBI for that's got to be libel or defamation or something, right?
I mean, what, to be falsely accused of mass murder? Yeah, probably qualifies. I think a good lawyer could probably make that case.
Could you sue the FBI for that, for like putting your photo out first, wrongly accusing you?
Yeah, no, you could. And I mean, the government makes it on purpose really hard for you to sue them, because they basically they fix everything so that they're covered.
So that was number one. Then secondly, the particular hall where the shooting takes place is in the old wing of the building where there are no cameras, which is weird, right? So instantly, when I learned of the shooting last weekend, I instantly was like, the guy is familiar with the building, because like instantly, and I'm not in the FBI. I'm a stupid freaking reporter. I've been a field reporter, and that's about it, right? Like, and I have common sense, and so I thought, this guy knows the building immediately. But the FBI, the FBI is still derping about.
They're like,
hey, that guy at the gas station. Maybe we should check Rob Reiner's son. Maybe. So, like, maybe he knows something.
Clovis may be involved. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm watching this going, okay, so this is definitely somebody that knows their way around the building, because they know where you can get in, where there's security faults, where you don't have to scan your badge to get into the lab.
Yeah, this isn't like 25 years ago where you could just walk, everyone could walk around any college campus, no ID required. You could walk into any classroom. You could go to a professor's office, no muss, no fuss.
Right. This is like, you have to badge your way into everything with beep, scan everything. So this guy, I thought immediately, okay. So then they put up the wrong face of this young man that he's like, they're like, we're going to question this guy. And I thought, that's not the guy. That's not the guy. Because the videos that they showed of the man from local homes, their Ring cameras, you can tell it's not the same kid that they decided to kidnap and say, because the kid's like this thin young man, and you could tell the guy lurching around was like a heavier middle-aged type. The way he walked, the gait, I could tell that was like not a 22-year-old. It's someone 40 plus. Like, definitely, just from the way he moves, he's an older person.
Yeah,
closer to my age, I figured. Yeah, so I was like, it's not how a 22-year-old guy walks.
His body type was different.
The composition, the body composition is all wrong. The swagger is all wrong for somebody that would be in their 20s. Like, that's not. So the FBI, again, doesn't use common sense. Okay. So then a couple days later, the MIT professor gets murdered, and the FBI is like, they're not related. They're not related. And I was like, wait a minute. Murders at two elite, like upper Northeast Coast universities, two Ivy League schools.
About an hour apart, according to yeah.
Like, not far from each other. I was like, how are you instantly going to say automatically, knee-jerk reaction, that they're not related?
Yeah,
Like,
as opposed to, well, you can't prove a negative, right? So wouldn't it have been
right,
better to just simply say, we are not yet aware of any
right,
connection, but we're exploring all the possibilities, right?
right. So leave an open-ended, if you're going to say they're not related, leave an open-ended out for yourself, right? But they didn't.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not related. And then
Yeah, they do that a lot.
come to find out, this MIT professor who, when they showed his picture, I was like, he looks pretty young to be a, highly respected. He's a 40-something guy. Okay, now we know who this supposed killer is. And Ted, what are the chances that these men studied in the same department of like astrophysics and all of this stuff in Portugal? They're both at two elite universities here in America. One guy becomes a professor. One guy leaves, I don't know, presumably in disgrace to go become Florida man, right?
Uh-huh.
And one guy becomes, this new renowned young up and coming astrophysicist, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances that these two men, it was like an academic rivalry
Feud.
or a feud?
Yes,
like,
it reminds
you stole
me.
my studies, you
were you
stole my research.
Were you a fan of Breaking Bad, the TV show?
I did not really watch it. No.
There's that kind of feud is sort of motivates the core character in part, where he basically co-founded a scientific startup with a couple. There's kind of a love triangle aspect to this, but basically he feels like his contribution was downplayed and that he was cut out, and these guys went on to become multimillionaires, and he's left behind to become a high school chemistry teacher.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I remember some of the premise of the characters, but Robbie just posted longtime listeners analysis of the shooting. Long says, so the shooter was a transgender Portuguese lover of the MIT scientist who was also pro-Palestinian anti-Semite who targeted Jewish brown students.
Yeah. This is like that old game show Chain Reaction, where you pair up words and you're like, how am I getting from this weird word to this other weird? How are they connected? But it's like you go, bump, 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 bump.
Right. So I'm gonna help Kash Patel right now because
oh God, are you gonna do something about his googly eyes? Give him eye drops?
No, I can't. Maybe that could be. I don't know. Less caffeine, less tweaky drugs. I don't know. Like, don't lay off the Red Bull, dude. Lay off the Monster Energy drinks. I don't know what's up with that.
Never a bad idea, really.
Seriously. But look, just from my observation, I'm gonna go with the Breaking Bad narrative then. I'm gonna say these guys were academic rivals ever since Portugal. And one wound up at MIT.
No, so much for what starts in Lisbon stays in Lisbon.
I guess. But so we won't know now because the supposed lone wolf shooter is off in a New Hampshire, which is weird. If he's now Florida man, why does he have a New Hampshire storage unit? And what is in?
And who doesn't want to? And who doesn't want to go to a storage unit to kill themselves?
Right. And why they're so.
Well,
Ted,
and also, and by the way, none of this explains the Brown shooting.
No, because he shot too young, a freshman and a sophomore.
He shot 11 people. He shot 11.
Well, no, but died.
9 other ones were shot too. They didn't die.
The two that died are kids, like 18 and 19-year-old kids that have probably nothing to do with him. But here's the thing. Presumably it's because that's where he had access to because he didn't have a badge. So he just kind of went in there. But why shoot, right? So here's another
Well, I mean, if you're going in to shoot people, you don't really care about having your badge, do you? Your gun is your badge.
Well, maybe he didn't want to damage school property.
I'm sure that was a key consideration.
So, he's an alumni. He was a grad student there.
Good point. Good point. I apologize.
So look, An affidavit obtained by Fox News says authorities were alerted on Tuesday to a Reddit post describing the suspect's vehicle. So the FBI couldn't crack shit, but here's who did. Ready? Quote, "I'm being dead serious," the Reddit post reads, "The police need to look into a gray Nissan with Florida plates, possibly a rental. Police later identified the Reddit user as a homeless man who they described as articulate and reliable, according to Fox News. He reportedly told authorities that he sleeps in the basement of the Barris and Holly building on campus and had observed the suspect there earlier in the day. He said they had a brief encounter as he followed the suspect outside. The affidavit states the man described a cat and mouse game where the two would pass each other and slow down, and at one point stood just feet apart when the man asked about the car. He then posted on Reddit after identifying the individual as the person of interest." So a fucking homeless man solved the crime.
Yeah, by the way, I'm glad you brought this up. And the fact that he's homeless is like, I mean, you can obviously be homeless and be reliable and sane and intelligent. But I mean, here's the thing. Kash Patel and all of the authorities repeatedly said, due to the hard work of law enforcement and like in our incredible investigations, they do this every time, Manila. They're always like, our crack team of gumshoes was on top of this. No, you sat like a toad, and someone gave it to you. I mean, sorry, that's not really detective work, is it?
So the FBI has been seen all over social media clumped together in front of the MIT professor's home looking for evidence, and people were like, because the FBI thought this would be like, oh, let's show them our gumshoe work and what we're doing. Instead, they got all kinds of they got ratioed big time on social media, saying like, here's a tip, guys, fan out. Other people are like, I've watched Columbo. You spread out and go, like people are giving them all kinds of shit because you see the FBI they're almost like elbow to elbow, like scraping their shoes, like clearing the snow from the deceased professor's lawn, right?
Yes.
And people were giving them shit like, fan out, boys. Like, this is not how you look for evidence. Like, maybe like a lot, this portion of the lawn goes to Bob over there. Jen, you go over there to the driveway. Like you. So instead, this is the real egg on the face, is the random homeless guy that identifies the Barris Holly building as like his home, right? So he saw a creepy dude.
Yeah, I mean, street people
around.
Be seeing stuff, right? Like, ironically, now this all goes to show the absurdity of it all. So this is our society. The university pays for security guards who don't see anything. The homeless guy gets no income, but he sees everything. I say fire the security guard, hire the homeless guy,
give the guy a job.
Security guard. Yeah,
dude, there was a homeless lady outside of the RT offices. I love talking to her. I'd always like help her out with food or money and stuff. And I just love talking to her because, sometimes she was with it, sometimes she wasn't. But she would tell me some weird things, like weird that were like believable. Like when if Biden or we had some high profile super PACs in our building. So she would tell me who just walked in. She would tell me if the suits, meaning
googly eyes,
if the suits were here, if the FB were here, or if Secret Service was here, and she's like, oh yeah, they're doing a sweep here. Biden's going to be walking through here for some, whatever. She would tell me stuff. So anyway, that's the end of that. And well-dressed nerd says, thank you for the donation, by the way. He says, it's a false flag. They were killed because they both worked on interdimensional travel projects where they made contact with interstellar life forms.
Of course.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I don't, like I said in the article, I don't even know I've never even heard of some of these topics, Ted. Like, what the fuck, like this professor at MIT, what did they say that he taught? Like, I couldn't even internalize I've never even heard of these. Professor Nuno, what is this?
Well, it's post-quantum mechanics. It's like what they call spooky physics, right? Where it's like
spooky physics.
Yeah, it's basically where it's hard to explain, but basically in the time we have allotted, but it's post-quantum mechanics.
That just sounds like studying magnetic fields in the universe with research spanning plasma physics, astrophysics, and space science. That's way beyond my pay grade. Way, like, you get past string theory and I'm out. I've checked out. Done. Goodbye.
Yep.
So anyway, more questions. Or Ted, they could be, to longtime listeners comment, for all we know, they could be old time lovers.
True.
Could be. Don't know.
I mean, I have my theories here. My theory is that we're talking about a rivalry, some sort of grudge gone wrong.
I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right with the Breaking Bad theory. One guy becomes a renowned MIT professor. The other guy becomes Florida man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's pissed. And he's like, I'm taking you out.
Yeah. But
I mean, normally people don't really wait that long, to get even with
50.
people. I mean, normally your rage tends to, I mean, look.
Well, no, it's been simmering for 25 years.
Yeah, but most people, that's not how it works, right? I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently, these people obviously might have been very brilliant. And, I guess if you're like a 160 IQ, maybe your brain works differently. And I don't know.
You hold that grudge longer?
It hurts longer, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, let's get up.
Maybe
let's get
it
on
hurts
to the next
so
topic.
good because sometimes love don't feel like it should.
I don't know. I feel really bad for the parents of, obviously, like the people that passed and this professor. I mean, who knows? Maybe Nerd is right. Maybe this professor was on to something. Who knows? Like, we don't know.
No, that's true. I mean, I was thinking, like, nuclear scientists have been murdered before. I mean, this is not unprecedented.
Right. I mean, just ask Israel.
That's exactly.
They know all about killing those nuclear scientists. So
they have some experience in that. That's true.
So there you go. All right, let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So where are we here? Okay, the normally proud and defiant French are waving the white flag in the face of migrant terror. Paris has decided to dim the lights on its New Year's Eve celebration along the Champs-Élysées. The massive midnight concert that drew a huge crowd of 1 million people a year ago, with the festivities having drawn throngs to the most beautiful avenue in the world for 6 decades, has been scrapped and will be replaced by a pre-recorded video to be viewed in the safety of your living room. The fireworks will still illuminate the Arc de Triomphe at 12 midnight, but with officials urging revelers to watch on TV rather than to come in person, the soirée will be a far cry from the famed French joie de vivre of years past. So what's going on? Well, the Champs-Élysées has become a flashpoint of violence, with throngs of young, mostly Muslim migrants streaming in from the suburbs. The suburbs in Paris are gross slums at night, looking for trouble, looting luxury stores, and brawling with Parisians and police. The cops, who pushed the mayor to get rid of the concert, cited these security concerns, such as unpredictable crowd movements, without going into detail, but critics loudly blamed France's open-door immigration policies. It's obvious that this was the result of massive unvetted Muslim immigration into Europe, says Manhattan DiMartino, immigration fellow at the conservative Manhattan Institute. Western Europe has had a terrorism problem for many years now, and that's been exacerbated because of unvetted Islamic immigration as the result of the refugee crisis of over a year ago. Even open-air Christmas markets are now considered high-risk targets by the Interior Ministry. The Interior Minister warned in a letter of a very high terror threat, citing Al-Qaeda, ISIS groups like that, and ordered beefed-up police presence at Christmas markets. Nunez cited the 2018 Strasbourg Christmas market attack, where a 29-year-old Sherif Chatak, a French-Moroccan jihadist, opened fire as he yelled Allah Akbar, killing 5 people and wounding 11. According to the ministry, 6 terrorist plots have been foiled to date in 2025 in France. And so basically that's the deal.
But you got to read
this
last quote, Ted. This is all from the New York Post. I don't know who they were quoting, but they said, quote, they're about the kids that come in from the burbs. They said, like in this particular generation of them, of migrants, quote, they're much less educated. They're much more Islamic. The children of those immigrants are not integrated into the rest of society. They're still living in ethnic enclaves there. They don't have high employment rates. They're actually much more likely to be out of a job. So they're much poorer. So, I mean, that's a recipe for youth rage, Ted. I mean,
sure.
In any country. And I just want, before we get too deep into this, I just want to do a couple more shout outs to thank yous for the donations. Nerd again with a donation. He says, those same interstellar trans-terrestrials who identify as bi-alien had critical info on Kash Patel's girlfriend, who identifies as a country sensation.
I think she identifies as
a country pop star.
As a person who's into googly eyes.
And then Sir Bikes a Lot says, in the UFO field, it's common for people who know too much to be deleted, especially with stuff concerning free energy and anti-gravity.
Is that true?
Well, these are, I mean, I'm not, this is a Jamarl thing. Like, I'm not like an alien person.
No,
other than like migrant alien.
I won't make that joke. Yes.
That's migrant. Human aliens are more of my understanding and expertise because it's, foreign policy thing. The UFO stuff, that's a Jamarl Thomas question. But this is something we can ask JT, actually, because like I said, Jamarl's really into that stuff. Like the MIT professor, the one that was just killed, that is the world that Jamarl loves. And longtime listener wants to know, Ted, did you ever see the French movie The Patriots about Israeli spies, including blackmailing a French nuclear scientist in order to get information about the Osirak reactor in Iraq?
No, but it sounds, I'd be curious if it's any good.
You love old movies.
I love all movies. New, old. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so with that, what's up with your people canceling? Basically, this is, I think the Champs-Élysées New Year's celebration, I think, is actually bigger than the Times Square one.
I guess that's right. Yeah.
Because a million plus people annually show up to Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, no, it's look, I personally would rather die than be in a crowd of 1 million people.
Oh, me too.
So I totally understand why no one would go.
Robbie's insulting your people. He says the French surrendered again.
They did?
Well, they did surrender this time. I would be the first to say that they didn't really have much of a chance in World War II, and they did fight hard. But that's a different conversation. Now, this is lame. I texted you. I was like, pussies when you posted that, and that's how I feel. I mean, like, guys, like, just cut the shit. No,
I just want to point out that Poland doesn't have this problem. They still have Christmas markets, and they don't have people flying Syrian flags, screaming at Christmas revelers. And the reason why is because they don't let these fuckers into their country. Listen, if you're going to go to a white Christian nation And if you're offended that this white Christian nation celebrates Christmas, then go back to the shit-stained place from which you came and never come back and enjoy your kebabs.
This isn't Christmas celebrations. This is the New Year's Eve celebration.
But it's
Good
both.
point.
But it's both, though, right? I mean, because in Germany right now,
New Year's Eve is not a Christian thing. We all have New Year's Eve.
No, I agree, but I mean, it's the holiday season.
Unless you say it's a Gregorian calendar thing and you're pissed off about it.
No, but I mean, just hear me out, though. I mean,
I'm
the
Julian
Orthodox calendar.
I'm Julian calendar all the way.
I mean, the common denominator here is that in the name of diversity, inclusion, tolerance, hi, Fernie, is that you have to import people who don't like you, who don't share your culture, and then they get offended because of your culture and because of your traditions. And so in which case, then in the case of France, you say, okay, Mr. Migrant, because we're such a cowardly, intolerant people, we're going to let you have your way. We're not going to celebrate New Year's Eve.
But the French aren't usually cowardly. That's the thing. They're the yellow vests go out there and are fucking pissed. Like they will go out there and raise hell. The British people are traditionally more.
Remember, this is a government cowardly decision. It's not people. Yeah. So I would hate to be blamed for the actions of my government. God help me. I mean, really.
No, here's the thing, and here's what I would like to see. No, the German people, they're really catching hell right now with their Christmas festivals. I would like to see about 10,000 Germans just go over there and just start beating the ever-living dog shit out of the Syrians who are mad because the Germans are celebrating Christmas. Just go and start busting heads. Germany, sack up.
Syrians in there in particular are mad.
But because I've sent you the stuff. They are there flying Syrian flags on bullhorns, saying that Christmas is halal, it's pagan, you shouldn't be celebrating it. These are migrants. Whatever. These are migrants. These are migrants who
the food.
Whatever. These are migrants who are in. You're in another country. You went there. You weren't born there. You went there, and you're mad because they're celebrating a Christmas, a Christian holiday. And like in Germany, what they're doing, they're actually putting up big concrete barriers to keep people from running their cars in. So my solution is simple: keep your traditions and deport the migrants.
Gee, I never saw that one coming.
Tannenbaum.
Well, seriously, show me where I'm wrong. Explain to me how I'm wrong.
Well, look, I think it's shitty that the Parisian government is going to do this because I know a lot of people they look forward to this annual celebration. It's as if you canceled the New Year's ball drop.
Well, you could cancel any mass gathering on the grounds of a possible terrorist attack.
I know.
Okay? I mean, so that's my problem with it. It's like, do you want to live that way, really? I mean,
right.
No, I don't.
And the other thing is, and my counter to you, Robbie, is it's not just illegal immigrants who do this. Look at what happened in New Orleans. Wasn't it about a year or two ago?
Yeah. It was just this last New Year's.
When there was a terrorist attack by
a military guy,
American fucker.
Mm-hmm. And what religion?
He's an army guy.
And what religion? What was he?
He was a Christian.
I think the dude. Well, the one I'm thinking about is
converted. No, this last one a year ago.
Yeah, he was a Muslim, wasn't he?
I think he converted to.
Is that true?
Being Muslim.
We have to look that up.
I think he's a black. He was a black Muslim.
I got perplexity.
Yeah, I think he's a black Muslim because I remember talking to Mike Maloof about it because they were like, oh, it's Muslim terror, and they were looking into it, and he was homegrown Americana, African American, born and raised here, and at some point he converted and.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
I think that was the story. I think.
Look, Timothy McVeigh wasn't Muslim. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. But he did it out of revenge because our government murdered the people of Waco, Texas. The Ranch Davidians. Yeah. Just going in and
I mean, by the way, is it really revenge if you don't have personal standing? Like, none of it wasn't one of your relatives. It's just something you read about in the paper, and you decide to respond to it. It's not really revenge, right?
Well,
that's Pearl Harbor, all these
Pearl Harbor was obviously an act of the response to Pearl Harbor was definitely an act of revenge.
The response
No,
to Pearl Harbor.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I mean, your family was in France. They weren't personally involved. My uncle, he was at Ford Island when it got bombed. So I guess you could say that my family had a little bit of say in it. But the point is that if the theory of just war, you have an obligation to protect the weak people and protect your own. That's the whole point. My point is that what Europe is going through right now is completely self-inflicted. If you end immigration, if you start mass deporting people who do not assimilate, who do not share your culture, who do not share your values, then really you have no one to blame for this but yourself. Now,
but you're not gonna create a crime-free society by doing that. Is my point.
No, of course not. But this crime and terrorism, though, are two very different things.
Right. Robbie's using the Jay-Z argument of 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. He's saying remove one of these would be. You already have a shit ton of problems on your plate, is what he's saying. So you already know this one's going to be a problem. So just cut it off.
It's not the homeless, drugged out dude on the street who's shoplifting from the 7-Eleven who you have to worry about doing a terrorist attack at a Christmas festival.
Yeah,
that's not the problem.
Well, in this case, a New Year's thing. But I mean, the point is that I think this is more about cowardice than it is about anything else.
Well,
it's also probably
can't live this way.
Yeah, and they don't want to spend the money on it. I mean, look,
they went all out for the Olympics, Ted. I think that they blew their load. I think that's what happened.
Look, France's worst terror attack in recent history was the theater attack, right? And
Bataclan.
Yeah, and I mean, are they gonna? I don't think France is canceling all theatrical performances as a result, right?
Yeah. So the New Orleans, the dude was Samsoud Din Jabbar. That's definitely an Anglo name. Was a Black American-born U.S. citizen who converted to Islam and pledged allegiance to ISIS. He was a 42-year-old Army veteran from Houston, Texas, and he then rented a truck and drove into a crowd, killing 14 people before getting shot. But the point is that you can't. There's really a whole lot you can do about someone who's homegrown, who decides to go completely crazy. What you can do something about, though, is maybe you'll have to import tens of thousands of these people every single year.
To increase the problem is what Robbie said. Like I said.
Yeah, then why would you do it?
JP rule. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. All right, so we'll leave that there and move on to the next topic. Robbie,
do you want another ad? Okay.
Go ahead and put that up, and then we'll move on to we'll breeze through the last two topics.
Do you want me to read it, or do you want me to just post it?
No, just throw it up, and I'll read through it real quickly, and then
okay.
And then I'll hit the jaws. And then we'll breeze through those last two because there's not a whole lot to say. It's just kind of weird stories, I think, that people should hear that happened. Not too much to say. All right. Our sponsor, good old 1775. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and of course mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom ain't scooped with plastic, guys. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear. Get yours for $99. This is for the ones who have been watching 1775 blow up here on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Producer Robbie loves it. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio. Grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. All right, let's hit the jaw. What the U.S. CDC, the Center for Disease Control, called, quote, an extremely rare event. An adult Michigan man became infected with rabies following a kidney transplant.
Oh, my God.
According to a CDC report, the man received a left kidney from a deceased donor in Idaho. The procedure went perfectly. The patient made the full recovery. But then over the course of 5 weeks, in this year, in 2025, he started experiencing some symptoms. The unnamed kidney recipient first started experiencing tremors, leg weakness, confusion, and urinary incontinence, but things got worse. Within days, he was hospitalized with high fever, difficulty swallowing, signs of hydrophobia, and autonomic nervous system dysfunction. He soon had to be mechanically ventilated because he couldn't breathe on his own, and then died a week into that hospitalization. Tests conducted after the man's shocking death revealed the presence of rabies virus in his saliva, neck skin, and brain tissue. This made no sense because the man's family claimed he had no known contact with animals that could transmit the disease. That's when investigators started looking into the kidney donor. It turned out the kidney had come from an Idaho man who had been declared brain dead several days in intensive care. His donor risk assessment questionnaire, okay, underscore that, questionnaire, indicated that he had suffered
they didn't test the dude's blood?
The questionnaire indicated that he had suffered a skunk scratch weeks before going into that coma from which he never woke. The organ donor's family recalled that several weeks before his death, the man fought off a skunk to protect a kitten at
As one does.
farm. Although he reported no bites, the man did come out of that encounter with a scratch to his shin. 5 weeks later, the man began to show signs of confusion, difficulty walking, swallowing, neck stiffness, hallucinations. 2 days later, he was found unconscious in his home, and then he never regained consciousness. After being declared brain dead, the family began arranging organ donations. His left kidney, his heart, lungs, both corneas. The rabies test came back negative, and his bizarre symptoms were eventually attributed to other chronic conditions. They wrote it off. However, after the death of the recipient, the kidney recipient, the CDC approved further tests on stored samples. And this time around, the doctors found rabies virus RNA in a biopsy of his right kidney, so the other kidney.
Jesus.
After confirming the presence of the rabies virus, 3 people in California, Idaho, and New Mexico who had received corneal transplants from that Idaho donor between December 2024 and January 2025 needed to have their transplants removed. They also received rabies immunoglobulin and 4 doses of vaccine, and none of them, thankfully, developed any symptoms. Despite the shocking nature of the case, the CDC noted that the risk of contracting rabies or other infections through organ or tissue transplantation remains extremely low.
That's very helpful.
Only 4 transplant transmitted rabies events have been documented in the United States since 1978. That's weird.
It's weird as shit. You know, I had never heard that. I just thought you had to be bitten in order to get rabies. I didn't know you could get it from a scratch.
I never. Yeah, this is the first I've ever heard.
I mean, the real takeaway here is if you have an encounter with a wild animal and you get scratched, you probably should get tested for rabies.
Oh my God. So this is a cautionary tale going into the weekend, folks. So because of the weird weather we're all having, every place is warm for some reason.
Uh-huh.
If you go out into nature, if you get scratched by a creature, a squirrel, a raccoon, whatever, that's
even the most innocent animal, the cat, you still have to be weird. Still have to be careful. Yeah.
Weird. Okay, your last story real quick.
In a case that's grabbed national attention and exposed deep tensions over immigration enforcement, a federal jury convicted Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah C. Dugan on a felony obstruction charge for helping a defendant avoid arrest by federal immigration agents. Well, we don't really know they were federal immigration agents because they're masked and they don't carry IDs. By random thugs, let's say that, inside her courthouse. Dugan, 66, was found guilty of obstructing a federal proceeding, a felony carrying a potential sentence of up to 5 years in prison. She was acquitted of a misdemeanor charge of alleging concealment of a person from arrest. Earlier this year, she was suspended from the bench following her arrest, and now she's disqualified because of the conviction from serving as a judge in the state of Wisconsin. So this all goes back to April 18th, when federal immigration goons waited outside Dugan's courtroom to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Mexican national in the U.S. illegally who was facing misdemeanor domestic violence charges. Prosecutors say Dugan found out about the Judge Dugan learned about the agents' presence, confronted them, questioned their authority, and then directed them away from the courtroom, creating a brief window for Flores Ruiz and his lawyer to leave through a side entrance. Flores Ruiz was later apprehended after a short foot chase and eventually deported, but the feds argued that the judge's actions constituted a deliberate attempt to interfere with immigration enforcement. During the 4-day trial, jurors heard testimony and reviewed courtroom recordings showing Dugan moving the defendant's case off the regular docket and instructing courthouse staff to facilitate an alternate exit. Prosecutors said she abused her authority and undermined the law. Dugan's defense argued that she was motivated by confusion and concern over courthouse protocols governing interactions with federal agents. Her attorney said she never intended to obstruct justice and was acting within her discretion. When in a chaotic situation where rules surrounding ICE in courthouses were unclear, the jury ultimately rejected that explanation. The verdict has drawn sharply divided reactions. Justice Department officials framed the case as proof that no one, including a judge, is above the law. Others say they went after her because she was anti-ICE. She's going to appeal. No sentencing date has been announced yet.
I don't even know what to say about that judge. Like, I don't think, I personally don't think what she did was obstruction. She was just like, get your goons off of my fucking court property. Like, that's it. You know, like.
Well, I think the goons were probably within their legal right to goon.
Were they?
There. Yeah. And
I hear knocking.
Yeah, there's
so
knocking.
That'd be the end.
End.
We'll leave that there. So poor Judge Dugan. Anyway, I don't know what to say about her, but anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. It's supposed to be kind of warm for the Northeast, so I don't know. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here on Monday. Ted, enjoy your travels.
Thank you.
Adios, amigos. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye, all.